Hello everyone, I am going to bring to you a very quick and easy vegetable or vegan vegetable pot pie. So I'm gonna see if I can get this done within the next couple of minutes. Hold on, because I see my bottom, so I have to put that in the oven. I like the bottom of my pie and my crust, and this is a vegan pot pie, so I like the bottom real solid. So I'll go ahead and throw that in the oven. I am going to have green beans. I am having green peas, carrots, and potatoes. So the first thing I do, I cheated, so I got the organic stuff, and the carrots are already sliced up, organic. So I'm just going to show you they're boiling in the pot. See that? So I got those boiling. When they get to a certain point, I'm going to go ahead and throw those into the skillet because I want to kind of get like a stir fry going on there. Remember those oyster mushrooms? I had some extra ones, so I went ahead and stir fried. Well, sauteed those up. Let me just put that there. One thing I'm missing the onion. Forgot my onion. Princeton, give me an onion, please. I gotta get an onion. Okay, thank you. Can you please give me an onion? All right, and bring the garlic for me because I'm taping. All right, you don't see a box of onions? You don't see a box of onions at all? Not at all? There's no big box of onion.
Oh, onion.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm trying to get an onion in my life. All right, so I get some onions and my garlic, some fresh garlic. And hey, Jay, I'm gonna chop that up. There's no loose onions that you can bring me? Not one loose onion back
Oh,
there?
there's a bunch.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Bring me a loose onion. All right, so I'm about to dice up some onions, some garlic. I'm going to throw that into the skillet. Just one, thank you. Bring me my garlic. Look at my bag. Bring my garlic, and I'm going to show you that. I use my back owl. That's why the camera is so close right now. But I'm waiting for the owl to cool down some so I can resituate my camera, and then we can go from there. But be patient with me because I'm trying to do this. It's a very quick, easy, vegan vegetable pot pie. Hopefully we can get through it very quickly. All right, just put it down, please. All right, now let's see if I can do this while the other part is getting. You can go practice your spelling words, but before you do that, bring me that black thing that's standing out right there. Thank you. Spelling words and definitions. All right, let me grab it. Go practice. Thank you. Go ahead. Thanks. Appreciate it. Alright, so here we go. I gotta go ahead and get these onions in there because I'm making my own cream because it's vegan. Usually you could throw in like cream of mushroom or cream of onion, but you know that's dairy. So I'm stepping away from the dairy and I'm going to make my own. Some people call it a roux. So I'm going to be using that plant-based milk by Ripple that I showed you guys before. Ooh, I'm going to take that skin off. And I'm going to be using the vegan Earth Balance butter. So that's non-dairy. And then I'm going to use, of course, my white whole wheat flour, and I think that's by King Doctor. So the plant-based milk that I'm going to be using is by Ripple, and I told you what the butter was, Earth Balance, the vegan butter. All right, so I'm going to be using those items. All right, I'm gonna slice those up a little more, and I'm gonna throw that in my skillet, and I'm using virgin olive oil to go ahead and saute these up. Alright, so I'm going to throw that into my little skillet here. And that's going to eventually, once that caramelized a little, it's going to be added to my sauce. Alright, hey Dorian, Happy New Year, happy 2021, we made it. To everyone, shout out to you guys. It has been last year was a year, but this year is going to be even greater because we made it. Thank God for that. We made it. Yes, there were some heartaches and there were some struggles, there were some battles, God took us through, and He's going to continue to do so. So hold on and hang on in there. Thank you guys for that. Now, I asked that little boy to bring my garlic. Oh, he did. Alright, so I have my garlic. Of course, I want to do this really quickly because I always got something to do and somewhere to go. So I'm trying to rush. Give me a moment. I want to get that done. And then I'm going to throw this also into my skillet where my onions are. And then you're going to see what I'm going to do with the carrots that are boiling, because I want to get that little saute flavor on those. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that into the skillet. And then I'm going to make that sauce or that roux. And I'm going to add that all together. And we're going to throw it into the pan. Now, let me tell you, I cheated on the crust. I am using an already pre-rolled crust. I'm not making it from scratch because I don't have time. I don't. So I cheated on that. And then when I was toasting, I was on a phone conversation. I was dealing with my son, which he knows what he should be doing. But of course, he bothering me, and I end up burning it. So I'm starting over. My sister is out, so I asked her to pick me up. That I don't know, 2021 for me and cooking just seems like it's the year of bloopers, because I've been having some bloopers, and normally I don't have as many bloopers as I've been having, but it's okay because the meals are still turning out fabulous. Yes, they are. And I'm gonna try to bring you a little more, as much as I can, right? Because I know some people have made some resolutions to eat better. Some people have even gone out to say that they want to give up meat. Some people that want to do it, they just don't know how to or what to. You know, they are so used to balancing out their meals with just certain items. And what I'm looking to do is to give you some alternatives. You know, fun. Vegetables are fun. They're creative. You can be so creative with them. You can use your imagination. You know, everything does not have to contain meat. And even the things that you normally would have that was the balance of meat, you can just do without, right? And you can have a full meal. I promised that I was going to try to make sure that my family did 2 weeks of a cleanse without meat. But kids are so picky at this age. You can only do so much with them, right? And so I got through the first week, but then this week I ended up giving them some chicken. So they had 2 days of chicken, but that's okay, right? Because they're gonna have vegetables today and this delicious vegan pot pie. I know this garlic don't want me to be great today, because it should have just slid on off. The skin should have slid off, and it didn't happen. But I'm gonna be great. I'm gonna be great whether it wants me to be great or not, right? All right, so I'm also going to be using my vegetable broth. Now, I did promise you guys that I was going to show you how to make vegetable broth. I didn't do it. Everything just came at me. Even during a break, I actually decided to break. I actually decided to relax, to just do what I needed to do some things around the house. And so I did that, right? So I didn't get the chance to bring you some things that I wanted to do. The season's not over. The winter is not here yet. So I still got a little time if I'm going to decide to show you how to make your vegetable broth. Which is really quick and easy. It takes a process because you're boiling stuff, you're straining stuff, but it can be done, right? Alright, so stay with me. So I've added that to my onions that I already had, and they're crystallizing. I'm crystallizing that, and I just want to go ahead and get that garlic mixed up in there and get that garlic to break down, because you know garlic can be crunchy, especially when it's nice and fresh. So I want it to just to break down a little bit. I've turned the heat off of that. If you can smell that garlic and onion together, it is so on point. All right, smelling good, smelling good. That's the first thing. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out. You know I'm working in a small little production kitchen, i.e. my own kitchen. So space is limited. I am going to turn off. Now, I was supposed to let that carrot and potatoes boil for like 15 minutes. But what I did, I put it on my smaller owl because I needed this as my working surface. So it's taking a little longer to boil. since it's in the founding stage, because I'm gonna transfer this all over to my skillet. Because I remember I told you I wanted to have that like a stir fry, not stir fries, but like a sauteed taste to it. I'm gonna end up transferring that over just for a little hot second into my skillet. I'm gonna go ahead and add my green beans. So I have potatoes, I have carrots, green peas. All right, add that in, and my green beans. All right. So remember, we're gonna fill them up with the vegetables. As many vegetables as possible. Right. All right. So now I got a little room over there. I'm gonna transfer this over to the side. These are those oyster mushrooms I had leftover from when I made, that I made that vegan chicken. This is leftovers from that, so I just stir fried those up. And that's going to go into that pot pie also. Now, let me go ahead and get the sauce ready, right? I got about 30 minutes to get this pretty much done. So stay with me. Hopefully it won't take that long. I'm starting off with a saucepan. With that saucepan, I'm going to go ahead and turn that up to about a medium heat. Alright, I'm going to plop in a half of my vegan butter. Alright, I'm going to put that in there. Along with that, I'm going to go ahead and add in my crystallized garlic and onions. Let's crystallize them up. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Yes, Principal? You said what? Okay, well, I need you to do, make sure you got a salad, okay, sweetie?
Yeah, I got a salad.
Okay, we'll go take a break. Go change your clothes and take a break for a minute, okay? Okay, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. All right, so while this is browning, don't go in there and find no Beyblades. You go in there and go practice some more or something. No Beyblades. I'm so sick of Beyblades. Whoever, introduce me to whoever made them, because I'm sick of them. Go ahead, Priscilla. Okay. Now go change your clothes.
Believe in them.
No.
They're real. They're real. Alright. Believe. Alright.
We've all been there before, right? Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and allow that to melt down. Now, while that's melting down, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my chicken, not chicken broth, vegetable broth, organic vegetable broth. I'm gonna add that into the mixture. Probably about a cup. About a cup in the mixture, right? About a cup in there. While that butter is melting. And I'll show you how it looks. I love the color. It's a rich color. And that came from those crystallized onions and that garlic. This is a very rich color. So I'm going to let that go ahead and melt. I'll show you. Look. See how creamy it looks? That handle is in the way. I'm sorry. My handle for my boiler is in the way. But it's a very creamy looking color. So I'm going to go ahead and let that continue to melt down, break down. And I'm going to be doing an interaction, which is I'm going to be adding this because I want to thicken it up. I'm going to add a little flour to it, and then I might add a little more of the vegan butter to it. And then of course, I'm going to be adding the Ripple plant-based milk to it just to give it that thickness. Because when you cook your pie, you have to also remember some of that juices are going to absorb in, right? So keep that in mind. I am now going to, because I didn't want the green beans to cook too much, but I just threw it in here. It's going to absorb some of those flavors. Now, some people, when they make their pot pies, they put chicken in it, right? And they go automatically to the frozen food section and they grab out the whole mixture, right? It's already mixed, like the carrots, the peas, the beans. Be already mixed into like one of those little frozen packages, and then they come in with the potatoes. I traditionally like to start off with the vegetables being fresh, right? And I really like them when they're coming out of my own garden. But if they're not coming out of my own garden, I try to go for the organic vegetables, because there are regulations in growing that. They're just not grown somewhere in the minefield, or somewhere that was polluted. There are actually governmental rules and regulations they have to follow in order for something to be considered organic. So they don't have the pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, and all those sides in there. They eventually cause cancers and other elements in your body. So I try to stay away from them. They're a little more expensive, but because they're expensive, I try to make sure to use them, right? Don't waste them, but use them. Alright, so While that's going on, I'm going to start adding in my milk because I want to thicken this up, but I also want it to be creamy. So I'm going to start in with about a cup of milk. That's probably about 3/4 right now of milk, and I'll be adding some in, and I want to get it rich. Because if you're thinking about it, if you're using like the cream of mushroom or the cream of potatoes, it's very rich. And that's what we're shooting for. That's what we're looking for, a richness, a thick richness. And I'm just going to see if you can see this without me making a mess, because this is years of bloopers. Okay, so I'll just show you that. And as this goes, remember what I said, I'm going to be adding in flour and adding in the vegan butter and adding in the milk, right? So I'm going to continue that process till I think I have enough. And right now I'm just getting the base started, and I'm going to start and continue to add in. And I'm doing that for a reason, right? Because now I can balance out how much base, that's the liquid, that's going to amount to how much of the vegetables I have. That's the whole point here. Alright, so now I'm going to start adding in because I want that thickened, and I'm going to turn down that temperature just a little bit. Alright, turn that temperature down a little bit in the front and turn that up in the back a little more because I'm running out of time. So I got to speed up this process some. So I'm going to start off with just 1 tablespoon and not even use it all. I'm just going to put a little in there, and I'm going to work from this tablespoon as I go to thicken up the actual, what they call a roux. Alright, so I'm just going to stir that in there. Make sure I'm breaking up the flour, and it's going to thicken. And it's going to give me that rich color that I want, that sauce that I want, and it's going to taste fabulous once I mix in all the other vegetables. Alright, so I'm going to let that cook a little more. And I'm going to check on how tender it is. So I'm checking actually the potatoes, and I want to see how soft they are, right? Because I don't want crunchy potatoes. So if I push it, it's getting there. See that? It's getting there. Alright, so I'm gonna give that about 3 more minutes, and then I'll pull that out, and I'm gonna add those. Probably the carrots and the potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and add that into my saucepan just for a tad bit before I mix everything all together. Alright, yes, it's looking beautiful. I want to thicken it up a little more. I'm going to add a little more flour to it, and I want to stir that up in there. Yes. So I've actually just turned down the heat just a tad bit more because I don't want it to go too quickly. Cook too quickly. We're almost done. This is it. This is like the final piece in this whole little puzzle. It's just this base. Thickening up this base. Because the vegetables are on point. You see my beautiful bottom layer of my crust. That is ready. And once I've done with my sauce, I'm just going to bring that in. Mix those vegetables up. Layer this sauce on there. And pop it in the oven. And we are done. It'll be done in about 20 to 25 minutes. Let it rest for about 5 minutes. Cut into it, and go to work. We're talking about hearty, satisfying, and good. The smells along, you know it's going to be good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little more of my vegan butter into there. Alright. No, sir, you didn't give me any black headphones, sir. No, sir. Go look in your room somewhere. You may have them in there. I tell you. I'm going to add a little more of my plant-based milk. So now I'm probably at 1 1/4 cups. And then, remember, I'm still working from that tablespoon of flour. So I'm going to add a little more flour in. And this is going to bring that to a nice thick consistency. Alright, now while that is getting to the point where I want to, I'm going to go ahead and start straining out the vegetables and throwing them into my skillet just for a tad bit. because they're gonna cook for 25 minutes in the actual pie. But this is just something I like. This is just like a taste just I like. It's like a saute taste. I don't know. I just started doing it. I normally would just saute the vegetables up and go from there, but I tried to boil them, to do something really quick, boil them, then saute them, and then throw them into the sauce, and then from the sauce into the pie. So, you know, we tried something a little new to the recipe. If it don't work out, then we know next time don't do it again, right? That's what you do. You try something, if it doesn't work, don't do it again. Alright? It's a pretty nice sized pie because I'm feeding like 4 people. I have a colleague that I normally take in samples because he eats meat. And so I'm like, here, try this. I'm always introducing him to some kind of vegetable or vegan dish. So, you know, it's been working out. He ate the vegan chicken, spicy chicken the other day I made. I took him in a sandwich and he was like, yum, 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 and kept eating it. And that was it. I didn't hear anything else. I didn't hear any complaints. I didn't hear, oh man, he ate that with no problem. So I'm going to say it was delectably tasteful for him. Okay? Alright. Alright, let me check on my little roux. Yep. So I'm going to add in a little more of the flour. And I still haven't even used the whole tablespoon. In a minute, I'm going to show you how it's thickening up and how beautiful the color is. Now, you notice I haven't added any salt. I'm trying to stay away from the salt. But if I am going to use salt, you know I go to my go-to, that Himalayan Peak sea salt. I'm going to try this in a moment to see if it has the taste that I want. We have those garlic and that onion in there, so that should get an indicator that it tastes really good. Alright, let me give it a little sample taste. I'm going to let it cool because I don't want to burn myself. It'll be a blooper number 100 for 2021. Okay. Yep, but I do want to add a little salt in there. Just a little salt. Because you know when you add your carrots to your pot pies, for some reason it makes it sweet. And then I have those sweet green peas, which is even going to make it a little sweeter. So I'm going to add a little salt to this. Because I want to kind of balance out that sweetness. So that's why I'm adding that little salt there. Alright, just a tad bit more. A pinch. A pinch of salt. That's what I'm adding. Now I keep leaving my salt up so it's kind of clumpy. But, you know, I leave it open. You hear that sizzle? That's the sizzle from those vegetables that transferred from the boil. Alright, so that's sizzling. And that is still thickening. I'm just going to show you how beautiful that looks. You see that? Beautiful, right? And now I'm going to add in the rest of that flour. Stir that in. Make sure all the lumps are out. Because this should make it as thick as I need it. And if it doesn't, I'll just add in a little more flour to just thicken it up a little more. Right, so I said I was going to cut back because I've gained some weight. And I haven't been as active. So I've just been sitting around eating whenever I wanted to eat that time. It's still like, for the most part, healthy stuff. But I've just been eating 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, because I'm up. And so I've gained some weight. And I've been eating a lot of sugar, which is not good for me. So I'm cutting back on, you know, eating late and eating all the sugar that I was consuming. So work with me. I'm a work in progress. But I can get the weight off. It's no problem, right? I just have to become disciplined and watch what I'm eating, what time I'm eating. And if I stick more to just the raw vegetables, I really could get the weight off. Okay. Alright. The sauce is looking so good. Alright, and since this is my sauce, I'm going to try it. I'm getting a different spoon just for you. Just for you, boo. I'll use a different spoon, although this is my stuff. Alright. Yeah. Just enough sauce, salt in the sauce. That's perfect. Now, you hear that sizzle? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the vegetables and I'm going to align them into the bottom of my pot pie. So let me clear off the working space. And then I'm going to pour the sauce on top of that. So let me go ahead and turn the sauce off. It's pretty much where I need it to be. Of course, it's going to cook some more once it gets into the pie. And I don't want it too much sauce, but just enough, right? All right, that sizzle is coming from this here. So my pie crust, see how large it is? Remember, I'm feeding a family of 4. I'm just going ahead and pour that in. I'm not going to add any salt to there. And pour all those vegetables into here. I don't like a lot of bread or crust, so I normally end up taking a lot of it off. Just because, I don't know, I'm not into that crust. Maybe if I made my own, I would probably be into it more, but since I didn't, I don't really like it because it's kind of sweet to me. The mushrooms I'm going to go ahead and add in. Hey, Hicks. Alright, so I'm going to add in those mushrooms. Alright, so that would take the place of like that cream of mushroom. And I just want you to see now. See how it's filling out. See how large it is. And then remember, I still have other vegetables that I haven't pulled out. So some were just in the bowl, some that I put in a skillet and just sauteed them up. So now I'm going to combine those two together. And I'm going to fill up the rest of my pie. Now, you're not going to see the final product because I have to go in about 20 minutes. So, and my sister's bringing the other part of the pie, right? The top crust, because I burned the other one. So she's going to finish this sauce. All she has to do is put on the top crust. I'm going to show you this product. Put on the top crust and then throw it in the oven for 20 to 25 minutes watching it. I don't know the variance of her oven, so she's going to have to watch it. My oven, I go from anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. Depending on how brown my crust becomes, I'll pull it there. There's no need of trying to poke it with a toothpick to see if it's done. It's done. Trust me, within that time. All you're doing is making sure that those juices mingle with those vegetables and that those flavors start to blend in together. That's pretty much what's going on, and that your crust is actually being cooked. And I'm about to show you this, and then I'm going to pour on my sauce, and we will be out of here. Quick, easy, vegan vegetable pot pie, and this pot pie will fill your family up. Normally I may have a couple of pieces left just for leftovers. Other than that, you eat a piece, you come back, you eat another piece, and then you think in your sleep about eating another piece. That's how good it is. Always, each and every time. Now, you can see my regular vegetable pot pie. I do have that in somewhere within my page, but if you stroll and look at the different cooking events that I brought your way, you can find that regular one. This is a vegan one, the other one's a regular one, but I want you to see how hearty all those vegetables are. Now remember, I'm taking my roux and I'm just going to pour that on there. Just pour it all over. Pour that on there, all those vegetables, yes. And that's going to settle. It's going to have some on the top, and it's going to settle on the bottom. And then by the time you cook it and you cut it, you're going to see those juices, and it's going to absorb into those vegetables, and it's going to absorb into that crust, and you're going to be set. Let me know if you try this recipe out, or if you want me to do a variation to that. Let me know. I'm here for you. So what I want to say in closing, because I have somewhere to go and something to do, I thank you for taking time out of your life to spend in my life. And if no one has said it to you in this year of 2021, I love you. Thank you so much, and I see you soon.